Hi, good evening. Good evening to Impala. Good evening, Zambia. Good evening, our viewers, wherever you are. This is Norman Chipakupaku on behalf of Musha, and I would like to welcome to our broadcast this evening. And this evening, our program is going to be short and sweet and short. We want to try and cover this in 1 hour. And tonight, Musha is just on, he's fastening his belt now, leaving for Canada. And Musha is now just fastening his belt, leaving for Canada. And I just wanted to say thank you so much. And you're all welcome today to try and see Musha off and to say thank you so much for the good work he has done in Lusaka and throughout the other places which he visited in Zambia. I am very, very sorry that I'm broadcasting from home. You might have some background noise because I'm broadcasting from home in Lusaka. And to those of you who are viewing us from Zambia, please try and share this program. Share with as many friends as you can, and we will try and bring in some of you to try and tell us what you think. I also want to make sure that I remind you, our viewers, that you are welcome to give us stars so that we can try and build Bakwetu TV. Jeremy won't be able to join us tonight. He's just been traveling, but he might join us. If he doesn't join us, it doesn't really matter. We'll be able to continue with our program. For me, it has been a busy day, a busy week, and for Musha, I think it has been a busy week. We just wish Musha a very safe travel as he goes back home, and after a big, big fight to try and get our country back home. I know that there are a lot of issues which we need to talk about tonight, and to just share some of the information of what our people are saying. And I think it will be very, very important for us to talk about some of the latest things. We are getting a number of stories coming through. One of them, which is very, very interesting. First of all, we all know that the president is still considering his cabinet. We also know that the MPs are being sworn in. We also know that the president is really, really still continuing swearing in some people. And we also know that all of us are anxious to try and find out who will be in the cabinet. And we also want to find out, I think some people want to know who is going to be the speaker. Whether Dr. Matibini is going to continue, we're not sure. But let's start with a very interesting story tonight. Mr. Kambwili himself. There is a video circulating that Mr. Kambwili was trying to persuade the bank governor of the Bank of Zambia, Mr. Mvunga, Christopher Mvunga, that he should move some of the money which is owed to the PF cadres, including Mr. Kambwili, and turn them into government bonds, something worth 30 million US dollars. And according to the discussion they had, the issue was illegal. The issue was illegal. And we find out that Mr. Kambwili was trying really to influence the governor. So for tonight, I want to welcome Isaac Chawinga, Peter Mainga, Gladys, our sister Gladys, Mkeleba Isha, Wiseman, and Kangwa. And we also want to welcome other people who would like to join us. We will try our best to make sure that we get our contribution. We also want to find out what you think about the cabinet. I've been privileged to meet some of the government party officials, and nobody knows. Nobody knows who's going to be in the cabinet. We have already got the Minister of Finance, a good man, Dr. Msokotwani, a very, very good man. And I just hope that the rest of the cabinet will be like that. And I got also something in terms of vaccines, it looks like there's a scandal over vaccines. Probably somebody was trying to import vaccines privately. We don't really know what is happening. The truth is that I've been in Lusaka for 1 week now. It looks like the COVID numbers are coming down. And some people were telling me in Lusaka today, is that General, it's terrible that the elections are finished and COVID also has ended. Was PF trying to use COVID to try and stop UPND and other political parties campaigning? It's also very nice to be able to meet some of my colleagues today. I met a number of my colleagues. I also had lunch with a friend. I will not tell you who this friend was, but it was very nice to be able to see what actually happened after the elections. Some of the things which took place when the results were being announced and the action which the PF was trying to take are very strange, very, very strange. But I just want to hear from you all, how you are getting on and what you think about the story of Kambwili and the story of Kambwili and the governor, and what you think about the cabinet, who you think should be in the cabinet, what you think about the speaker, and probably the scandal of the vaccine. And I can say, Jeremy, you are most welcome. I was saying that you might not be able to join us. You're most welcome. I was just telling our viewers that Munsha is just fastened his belt. He might be taking off from Lusaka, Kenneth Kaunda International anytime. And just want to say thank you so much, Musha, for the fantastic job you've done. And the other thing I wanted to mention was I had an interview by Hot FM, which has been broadcast this evening, getting so many emails, feedback, which is very, very interesting. So, Jeremy, welcome, my friend. How are you doing?
General, thank you very much. I'm doing very much fine. Yeah, I was not expecting to join you now because they had the lined up program with Diamond TV, but it was scheduled to another day. So no wonder I said it was very difficult for me to join. Actually, the program was supposed to start at 21:15 hours. Now it's not there. There are some changes, so I need to join you and talk to our viewers. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Jeremy. Where are you? Are you back in Lusaka tonight?
Yes, I'm back in Lusaka, General. Yeah. I think I may be heading back to the Copper Belt probably over the weekend, but I'm still in Lusaka, General. Yes.
Jeremy, there are three things which we want to talk about, and I wanted you to get your views first before we bring our other colleagues. The issue of the Kambwili and the governor story, the issue of the cabinet. What are you hearing? And you should also tell us what's happening with this vaccine scandal. What are you hearing, Jeremy?
General, one thing first with the Kambwili scandal, it is a lesson to all the Butrikers and especially again as the young people in terms of the way we need to look about having integrity and also thinking about how you should behave as an individual. Actually, I think it's very embarrassing that there is such a recording for Kambwili and the governor, and you can see that Kambwili was told off by the governor to say you have no right at any point or authority to call the governor and instruct the PS or the governor on what you're supposed to do. I think that's a kind of shame that Honorable Kambwili actually received from the governor, and it's very sad. And when the governor also explained that him and Kambwili, they know each other for a longer period of time, and they were in parliament together. And the governor also disclosed that he was the one who was writing the statements for Naibu Kambwili when he was the minister for information. That was something again embarrassing on part of Umwine wa Chisushi General. So it's something very, very, very sad. In terms of cabinet general, if I say I've read anything, I'll be lying. I'm very much blank, and I only know about the finance minister who has been appointed. Yeah, waiting to wait, anxiously waiting to who be in the cabinet, because it seems like it's all about secretive, and we know nothing. I'm very blank about issues of cabinet general, but for me, I'm waiting to work with anyone who will be appointed in whatever the ministerial position, because that's my job as a party member to work with everyone and make sure that they execute the party manifesto and the thing that we have been preaching to the Zambian people. That's my role. So whoever will be successful and be appointed as ministers and different positions, for my role, it's simple: is to work with them, so that we work together to deliver to the Zambian people. General, yeah, coming to the issue of the vaccine is very, very much interesting, and you know my passion about the health and what I see the Zambian people concerning the health, and I think I'll take more time explaining about this matter. I think, General, one thing that we need to know very well is, are you getting me, General? Are
Yes,
you getting me?
go ahead, Jeremy.
Yeah, General, one thing that you need to know here is, and I will insist on this, the Ministry of Health, together with Zamra, they are covering up a big scandal that is supposed to be told to the members of the public. Why am I saying so, General? One, here, Zamra is claiming that they have destroyed the vaccines that were being intercepted at Kenneth Kaunda International Airport. I think there is a lot of gray area there. General, just importing an illegal product in the country, especially drugs, that act itself is a criminal act, and you need to be prosecuted for that. But in this situation, Zamra has not prosecuted anyone, but they have gone further to destroy the vaccines without even other people observing or being there witnessing the issue of those vaccines, if yes, they have destroyed them. And General, the other point that you need to know is the company involved. There are all these things of allegation among the owner of the company in terms of dealing about issues of drugs and all that. So it is something that's very interesting that we need to know. Were truly those vaccines, or they were just the other things carried in vaccine bottles? You see, General, those things are some of the things that we need to know. And did Zamla test that these are vaccines? If they tested that these are vaccines, let them share the results to the Zambian people to say, we tested these are vaccines. But if they couldn't, then they should also stop talking or stop saying that these were vaccines that came in. I think that's something unacceptable, General. And moreover, this also caused, General, for total overhaul in the Ministry of Health, starting from the topmost who's there, going down, and also the appendages to the Ministry of Health. As you know very well, General, Zamra has no board. So meaning that they are getting whatever instruction from the permanent secretary. And in this situation, that means the permanent secretary of health. So now, even those two permanent secretaries, they need, again, we need to ask them and they need to answer. And I've seen today permanent secretary for health, Dr. Kenneth Marama, saying that no, we are going to issue a comprehensive statement, and those vaccines came as a donation. General, when did I've seen also a statement claiming, I don't know if it's true, but it's claiming to come from the gentleman who seems to be the owner of the company, saying that that thing came as a donation. General, for God's sake, you yourself, can you be a person to receive a donation on behalf of the Zambian government without authority, and you don't work in government offices? Where on earth does that thing occur? That's not the way it's supposed to be done, General. You can't get a donation on behalf of the Zambian government, even where you are in Scotland. You can't do that. We have the ambassadors there. We have all these other government operatives that get the donations on behalf of the government, then they transfer those donations to the government and it reaches the people. Now, those explanations, again, they claim and they have a serious gray areas in it. There is more to vaccines, but the question general that we need to ask ourselves is, if we hear that general deals with the other commodities that are not okay, then we hear that general has been things that involve general has been confiscated or people have intercepted the things that belongs to general. What will stop me to think like it's your usual deals? So these are some of the issues, General, that we need to look into. And why is Zamra rushing to destroy the evidence if those things were illegal? Why did they rush to destroy? Because that's now, it's a criminal matter. You need that evidence to prosecute someone in the court of law. Why did Zamra rush to destroy the evidence without the presence of other people? And where is the evidence that Zamra destroyed those things? Let them at least bring other people who are there. Let them bring people from Zema. Let them bring people from Zambia Police. Let them bring people from Ministry of Health and other institutions that were present when they were destroying. If it's possible, the video that they recorded themselves to show that they were destroying these vaccines. Without that, General, that's not true. It is the entire Ministry of Health covering up. And as you know, General, for issues concerning vaccine and COVID, there is what they call out a sectoral approach in it, where Zambia National Public Health Institute, General, is involved, where there is a Ministry of Health itself is involved, ZAMRA is involved, and the COVID-19 response technical working team is also involved. So when they are deciding on which vaccines to buy and vaccines to come into Zambia, this whole team agrees. So in this situation with these fake vaccines that are there, it has indicated that the entire team also agreed. That now calls for the President Hakainde Hichilema, reasons to dismantle and overhaul all these sectors. Zambia National Public Health Institute to overhaul it, ZAMRA to overhaul it, the COVID response team to overhaul it, and the Ndeke House to also overhaul it, because they have continuously shown not to care for the Zambian people, but they have continuously shown to give or to risk the Zambian people concerning the matters that peculiar to health. As General, you know very well, health does not choose or does not discriminate whether you have money or you don't have money, whether you are well able or you are disabled. The matters of health, they cover everyone. And now these people, in their wise thinking, they put you at least as a member of the public without having remorse or without having a heart to say these are our fellow humans and fellow Zambians that we are supposed to put, we are not supposed to put them at risk. 6 months ago, people of Zambia were subjected to counterfeit medicines, and we saw, General, how many COVID-related deaths we have in Zambia because of us consuming the same counterfeit medicines. And we know the repercussion, General, of consuming these counterfeit medicines. There's issues of kidney failure that does not develop right then, but they take time. There are issues of liver problem that takes time. There are issues of prostate cancers that takes time. There are issues of cervical cancers that takes time. There are issues of heart problems that takes time. So all these are the consequences that the people of Zambia have been subjected to by these people. If you talk about terrorists being bad people, I think these people are worse than terrorists, and they are worse than the devil himself. For me, that's what I can say, because you cannot subject your fellow humans to such kind of ill. You cannot subject your fellow humans to such kind of poor quality of drugs. Well, you know very well that this does not fit what the international recommendation is, and you know very well that these are counterfeit. I think that's very much unacceptable. And the issue of vaccines, there is more answers that we need than the lip service that Zambia Medicine Regulatory Authority and the Ministry of Health, they are trying to give the people of Zambia. And it shows to you that they are trying to cover up something, and they are covering up an individual, which is a very shame actually for the entire government institution to try to cover up and the individual's wrongdoing. That is something unacceptable, General. And I'm very much upset for your own information, General. I'm very much upset because we are setting a very bad precedence, and these guys are destroying the profession of pharmacy that is respected worldwide. We are now as pharmacists in Zambia, General. Let me end here,
Thank
General.
Thank you, Jerome. I know that is a very specialized area. And again, to our viewers and our panel tonight, I've just been to the Secretariat of UPND. It's the busiest part. The UPND Secretariat is very busy. Everybody's claiming to be UPND now. Even some of the PF people who were PF 2 weeks ago, they are now claiming to be UPND. And some of them are even lining themselves asking for jobs. It's strange, Jeremy. And one thing which I saw was even Emmanuel Mamba with a T-shirt which says, our body will fix it. I'm seeing people, Jeremy, queuing up at the Secretariat, and the Secretary General's phone is non-stop. Everybody's claiming it's nice to be UPND. And I'm finding it strange that the people who were insulting us only 3-4 weeks ago are now claiming that they're UPND. What do you think about this, Gerald?
General, it's very interesting and it's very nice to be UPND, yes. You see, General, for me, I count myself a lucky person that I joined and participated in the liberation of the Zambian people and in making sure that UPND takes the mantle and win the election. For me, that is the greatest achievement so far in my entire life, because if we didn't tell the people of Zambia about all the things and the bad things that are happening in the Ministry of Health, maybe people would have put back these thieves who are called the PF back in government. But we thank God that we made sure that we explained to the people and the people understood and accepted, and now they are seeing a lot of things coming out. It is very nice and it's very interesting that even the people who were criticizing President Hakainde Hichilema and insulting him, they are now running up and even saying, and today when I was watching Parliament General, I saw people swearing in and saying that I will give allegiance to President Hakainde Hichilema. Just imagine, General. It was very interesting, and it's, yes, very nice to be UPND.
It's laughable. It's laughable. Jeremy, it's laughable.
Okay, thank you so much, Jeremy. Now, to our panel, we have got 3-4 topics here: the Kambwili and the governor. The cabinet, what you think about the cabinet? I am meeting some of our officials. I'm one lucky person who has met, who has met all the officials, but I don't know who will be in the cabinet. And I can say I'm one lucky one who has met the president briefly, but I don't know who's going to be in the cabinet. And then we have got the issue of the vaccine, which is a strange thing happening with the vaccines. And then finally, we have the issue of everybody claiming to be UPND. So I want each one of you, our panel, 5 minutes. You pick any of those topics, but please be brief, 5 minutes, and tell us where you are, and pick any of those 4 topics and tell you what you think. I will start with okay, I'll go according to the order. Isaac Chawinga, 5 minutes. What do you think is happening, and where are you?
Good evening, General. Great program.
Good evening,
on Hot FM. I enjoyed it so much. I always enjoy your firm stance on issues and how you just stand for the truth and you never compromise. That was a good thing. I'm in Houston right now. I'm Houston, Texas, and let me just summarize on what I want to say, first of all. I think people who have been found guilty of trying to manipulate our financial markets should be arrested, because this arrogance cannot continue even in this dispensation of Hakainde Hichilema as president. We don't want people who are going to be pushing their way out of their selfishness and self-centeredness, out of all the things that they have done to this country. They still want to ruin the country further. I think the governor, out of principle, should start preparing his papers of resignation together with the people that have been trying to influence him behind our backs. Because enough is enough. They have stolen, we're going to pursue them, and they have to be thrown under the jail, not inside the jail, but under the jail, and we throw away the keys. The second point is on the COVID vaccine. We know that globally there are only a few vaccines that have been approved for use. We don't want to start killing our people further. We already have that scandal of honeybee, with Minister of Education of Health. And I was reading, I read on Facebook that Jerome Kanika was very passionate when he had an interview with either, is it Spring TV, and then he aired his views. This is an opportunity for professionalism to take precedence in our country. We are tired of doing things haphazardly. We are tired of that kind of system. We want things to be done in an orderly way. And I pray that the president is taking stock of what is happening in our country right now. And I'm sure some of them, they are seeing what HH was saying, how people have been thieving and manipulating systems. And this is happening, and we are seeing it in broad daylight. But enough is enough. We need to put a stop to this. We need transparency in the Ministry of Health. We need transparency in the way that they dispense all these vital, life-saving, medications for our people. I've heard that a lot of people have been suffering from, side effects from these expired medications. And some people have actually lost their lives. So we need transparency, and we need to know who that person who donated them and why. And they too also should be thrown under the jail, not inside, but under the jail, and, bury the place around. As for the government is concerned, General, I think I'm just waiting to be surprised. I'm waiting to be surprised. I know that they have a good list of people, professional people. If they are not professional, we'll give them leniency, but we hope that those who are not professional will work for a few months and then say, you know what, I can't do it. Find somebody who's willing to do this job. We want people to be able to resign on moral grounds, to say, you know what, I can't do it because the demand for professionalism is too much, or is, Zambia should stand out right now. We have already shown that we are, we are a beacon of hope in Africa, but we should stand out in the way that people do things. If you fail, just leave the stage and let people who are competent do the job. And I pray that the president will choose, and I'm confident that he's going to choose the right people. The last point, General, today I was watching the president swearing in the commissioner for the prisons and his deputy. That was a tear-jerking moment. Like, up to now, I still feel itchy, I was like, oh my goodness. The speech that he gave, his sentiments, I think this man had gone through a lot. And God saw that it is right for him, to take place and to redeem our land. And we will not sit by and watch him do the work alone. We will stand by him, and we will be calling out all these people who are not doing the right things. And those who have done the wrong things in the past, we will still continue to pursue them. In fact, Mr. Jeremy, I think should even just start up, a checklist of all the things that we need sorted out. All the people that we have wronged the country, we need to pursue them. But we are going to follow them legally. and they should be brought to account for their mistakes. And we need the law to take, to take precedence, because you know what? It's just enough. I am very happy to be part of the program, and thank you so much for affording me this opportunity. Thank you so much, General. Thank you so much, fellow panelists.
Thank you, thank you,
Thank you so much, Isaac. That swearing in of the Commissioner General and the Deputy was so emotional. Remember, these are some of the people who treated HH very well. And I think it was moving. So let's move on to Peter. Peter, where are you? Mainga.
Good evening, General.
Good evening, sir. Any of those topics? 5 minutes, sir.
I'm in Choma. Right now I'm in Choma. I think my first point I will pick is on the governor and Mr. Kambwili. In the first place, I think the governor is so unprofessional, because someone who is so professional cannot talk like the way the governor was talking. So we wouldn't know if the governor was in the normal state or not, because the way the permanent secretary was put under pressure there by these two cadres, because the governor is a cadre, is nothing else apart from a cadre, and Chisimba Kambwili is a cadre. How does Chisimba Kambwili come into the government issues, the money issues? How do they give the bond, the money that the cadres are owing, be converted to a bond to the nation to pay? How does it come to that? How does it happen like that? And why should it be like that? So in the first place, what I am thinking as a citizen of this country, I think when these guys, whenever they step down out of this position they have to be prosecuted. These people are supposed to be arrested. And Chisimba Kambwili is a criminal already. Who doesn't know that he's a criminal already? And he's involved. How does a criminal get involved into the government issues? And we are talking about $30 million US. 30 million, General. Meanwhile, the country has got no medicine, and Chisimba Kambwili is talking about 30 million to be just dish into the government to pay another debt, which they have been stealing. The second thing that I would say is, when I come to the issue of the cabinet, I think when the president was asked about the issue of the cabinet, he said it will come soon, but very surprising. And that is a very good point. And I think the only thing that I would suggest, the president should not follow people according to how they came, like these people who just came now. They have been there, but UPND has been strong, even with or without other people's help. UPND would have passed through. And again, the other thing that you have to know is, I want to see the president pointing people like meritocracy. We need people to be appointed, people, not even just those people who just comes to the State House with jackets. We need to see people from other places as well, where we see people from other places being appointed by the president into these ministerial positions. We don't know who, but all the best to all those who are going to be to be chosen. What is the other? When it comes to the issue of drugs, vaccines, as a health practitioner, I'm a health practitioner just like Jerome. It really pains me when I see things around in the hospitals where you see like the issues of vaccines. Corona is real. And the corona, seeing me like being a frontline, it's very heartbreaking to see people doing business. They are bringing in medications, vaccines, without the country knowing. When last did it come like an individual is supposed to order vaccines from another who is supposed to receive donations? What is the job of the embassy? Why is that the embassy is not aware of that? Because the foreign people who are working on foreign foreign bases. They're supposed to be aware of these issues. But now, unfortunately, they don't know what is happening. And how does it get into this position, General? So, again, when you look at this issue, it is giving headache to us who are on the ground, who are working. They're giving us pressure. How does expired drugs come into the country? When we have ZAMLA, we have different boards to examine these drugs. But now, my only worry is why is it that ZAMLA has destroyed these vaccines before the public is made aware what is contained in those vaccines? Why? The public demands an answer. We need an answer. I think that's what is the other topic, General? Unmute yourself, sir.
The other topic is the people who are rushing to UPND now. Everybody's UPND in Zambia. And the rush to the secretariat, the Secretary General, there's a queue outside the Secretary General's office. Everybody wants to be Secretary General. And I even hear some people were buying cards. The UPND cards, are hot cake. People want to have a card which is backdated 2016 when they joined yesterday. Can you imagine how strange this is becoming? What do you think about that?
In the first place, General, I've been UPND member for 16 years now. But it's unfortunately when I see with us young people, I know who is UPND and who is not UPND. With us who went to the, these big colleges, universities, I know who our colleagues are. But now, when you look at these issues of people looking for jobs, they want to be UPND. These are the same people, General, you've been seeing. They've been on employment by PF. These people have been. What I suspect is that these same cadres who are flocking to the secretariat, they're the same people who have been on payrolls already. And now they are seeing that UPND wants people with professionals to be employed into these positions. They are flocking there. But now the fact is, UPND, as UPND, we know people who are there in those at the secretariat. I don't think that is going to work. And the Secretary General himself, he is not supposed to be accepting people just because they have come. Let people support UPND because it's a government now, not that they have to be brought near. Let's play this maturely. People should be accepted, but they should be given a distance where they should be. How do you see? You look at this. You see at this. Who was the ambassador for Ethiopia? Emmanuel Mwamba.
Yeah.
How does he become UPND? How? Okay, honestly, how does he become UPND? And these are the same people. These are the same people which are aiming at getting positions. Meanwhile, people like you, General, who've been fighting for justice for Zambia, will be like you might be left out, and then people who have been in positions already, they are given positions when they have not done anything. These people have been fighting Zambians, and you've been fighting for Zambians. We have been fighting for Zambians. Why should these positions go to people like Emmanuel Mwamba again? And why should he be UPND? When did he become UPND? Why should he be putting on UPND regalia when he's a pure PF cadre? Why? And again, General, it's out of the topic. It's just a question. I saw something on media today that the outgoing president is demanding for 2-term benefit when he only received 1 full term. As people who knows law, what take do you have to take in that?
Peter, you are bringing a topic which I wanted to bring tomorrow. Mr. Lungu served 2 terms, but he was claiming before that he had only served 1 term. Now, I don't know what has changed, really. So I think let's reserve this for tomorrow. But if anybody has a comment on that, please, you're most welcome. It's strange that only a few months ago, His Excellency, the former Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, the great leader, the humble one, was saying he'd only served 1 term.
1 term, that's what I still remember.
He wants to be compensated for serving 2 terms. He wants to be paid as president for having served 2 terms. He might end up asking for 2 houses because you will say he was president twice. So it's strange, Peter. You've raised a very important point. Let's go to Wiseman. Wiseman, over to you. 4 topics and 5 minutes, sir. Can you be brief so that we give each one a chance?
Thank you very much, General.
Where are you? Are you still in Kabwe?
Yeah, I'm in Kabwe. I'm in Kabwe in my hometown. I'm in Kabwe. I was in Lusaka. I think I even managed to pass by the secretariat, and I was looking eager to meet you, General. It's unfortunate that Zambia is big. Not knowing where to find you, but it's good that you are in Zambia, and it's good that you are representing us, even when you reach those top leadership. I'll try to minimize myself into the same 5 minutes which you have given me. I'll try to give each topic 1 minute for me to give room to my colleagues as well. I think I'll start with the issue of Governor and Mr. Lunatic, Umwino Wakisushi. He said I'm lunatic and I'm mad if I go back to PS. So it's not me who's putting him in that position. He said it himself. I think for me, I'm very disappointed with Mr. Mvunga, the governor. Not so disappointed with the lunatic, because the lunatic himself, we know who he is. He's a lunatic as usual, and as he has claimed to be a mad person, he's a mad person as he has put it himself. So for me, I'm very disappointed with Mr. Mvunga. Mr. Mvunga, I think even as much he was appointed by a political appointment, the office he was holding it's a very professional office, which has to, I think, to be saved with diligence. The conversation which they had, those 2 people, if you have seen how Mr. Mvunga was coming out, it was very disappointing to see to it that it was just showing himself that he's a pure cadre. That conversation.
Come back to you. Let's move to Kangwa. Kangwa, 5 minutes, sir. We'll come back to you, Wiseman, when you pick up. What do you think about those 4 topics? The topic of the cabinet, the vaccines, the issue of the governor and Umwino Wakisushi, and finally the issue of everybody being UPND now. Over to you, Kangwa.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me? General, can you hear me?
No, Kangwa is not able to join us. Can you
General, can you hear me?
We can hear you, Kangwa. Can hear you.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Kangwa, every time Kangwa is here, is failing to unmute yourself. Let's move to Mr. Mkeleba. Over to you, sir.
General Kangwa, we can hear Kangwa, we can hear. Maybe it's you have a problem.
Jeremy, are you able to hear me?
Okay, yes, I'll be quick.
Yes,
if you guys can hear me.
We can hear you.
Okay, I'll just start with the issue of the fake vaccines. My biggest concern on the issue of the vaccines is actually the company that has procured these vaccines, Chrisma Moving Equipment.
Jerome, tell Peter to mute his mic. It's disturbing the sound, I think.
Is that fine now?
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, you can. Peter's unmuted himself.
Perfect.
General,
Okay.
Okay, go on, Kangwa.
Yes, my issue is actually to begin with the company that procured this fake vaccine in it's called Chrisma Moving Equipment. What has an moving equipment got to do with the procurement of vaccines? And we all know that this Chrisma Moving Equipment is owned by Findlay. Findlay is a very close friend of Edgar Lungu. What does Mr. Findlay have to do with the procurement of vaccines? And this thing has come very recently, as the issue of honeybees still very fresh in our memories. It means that this government didn't care at all about us, and they didn't learn the lessons from honeybee, because this issue is from July, if I'm not mistaken. So they had opportunity to mitigate this issue, but they still went ahead, gave a company which was not deserving, and it went further to even buy fake vaccines. It's very disappointing. And also, maybe I can hear from professionals, what's the role of ZPP, the Zambia Procurement Organization? What role does it play? I don't think contracts should just be given to any Jim and Jack. I think there should be a vetting process. And then on the issue of Chimba Kambwili, I think this issue is not even an issue to discuss because, first of all, Chimbakambwili is not a man of integrity. And then I believe Mvunga was just trying to save face because you can tell from that recording that Mvunga was the one who was doing the recording. I think he wanted to seem like a man of integrity, but the whole recording backfired because you could tell that probably these issues have been going on. And there are some people with actual authority within the government who could get such deals done. It's just that Wachimba Kambwili did not have the required authority. That's why that deal fell off. But Mr. Mvunga is not a man of integrity. And I like that by HH in this evening's interview with BBC, he hinted to us that Mvunga is as good as fired because he told us that you will see from the choice of governor I will choose. So I think Bamvunga shouldn't even bother going for work my longer Kuba for serious. Then on the issue of cabinet, I think it's all a guessing game, but I think we have reassurance that he will pick quality candidates. And maybe he's just waiting on the full swearing in of MPs, then he will quickly form cabinet. The only issue is that he raised an issue of fair representation within cabinet. I know that we've constantly been saying that we want to see more women ministers and we want to see differently abled people also taking up those positions. But the unfortunate part is that in this election in particular, the number of female MPs which were selected has actually reduced compared to previous years. So I don't think we'll be able to see the high number of females that we would like, and also differently abled MPs. But I'm sure he will use that 8-month selection that he has a prerogative over to probably fuse in some women. And also, General, on the issue of Emmanuel Mwamba, the T-shirt that you're referring to, that T-shirt was simply photoshopped. So if the confirmation of him joining UPND is based on the T-shirt, that photo is fake. And lastly, I would like to talk about Siandenga, the recently appointed commissioner of special something, but State House. I think that that appointment is so timely and it's a good reward for him. That man stood against government when it was unpopular to stand against government, and I think he's deserving of that position. Yeah. And lastly, the issue of the people going to secretariat looking for jobs. We shouldn't entertain Shimat workers in this in this government. People should be able to have sustainable jobs, sustainable businesses. Government and UPND as a party is not a business. Let's not turn it into a business where people can now subscribe to the party so that they can now start getting benefits of contracts, of jobs. Let's not entertain this in this government. Let people get the jobs and contracts on merit. That's my submission.
Okay, thank you, Kangwa. But wise man will come back to you, Tamach Puisha, but ten Tiokri Mukerabai, please, your thoughts.
Yes, good evening, panelists, and good evening, viewers. Mkelava is my name. Pure Lozi, I'm not a colored. So do not discriminate on my, yes. Well, I think a lot have been said. Everything has been said so far, and which is good. My first observation, or rather my appeal, will go to His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zambia, Bali, HH. to actually be very, 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 very careful in people with high profile, or rather those who are well qualified, who are able to deliver, and that were actually against him. And today that he won, and they're coming in the forefront and take over scoop, because we never used to see some of those people he appointed, and we only see them coming now or mushrooming now and leaving the very people that really suffered with him, that actually went to Mukobeko or to whatever prisons with him. So we just hope that his cabinet will be actually encompassed with the true the true political, the UPND party members. At the same time, with qualifications, of course, professionalism must be observed. There's nothing, like he said already, we can tell from the appointment of the commissioner, the assistant commissioner of, is it assistant or is the commissioner himself for prison, where he tabulated a short story of how he stood by him even against the odds with the previous regime that was so brutal. But that commissioner, as a junior officer, stood by and stood by him and corrected him. So with that example, I wish he could do the same throughout his cabinet, the new future cabinet we are not aware of, how he's going to appoint them. They have to be appointed on meritocracy, like the earlier panelist put it. At the same time, professionalism, yes, and be careful with people Mshani Nawali. Even it's not just cadres who are Mshani Nawalis. There are also people who are of high profile that were in the previous regime, or that were just mute, who were scared. Baletu basatokutira ati mwebasambirira mwalikwata n'omwenso. Hakainde is a very educated man, and he went through a lot of tribulation, and he was appointed. I mean, but he never gave up the fight. He continued. He persisted. Most of the people that were with him left him, ran away, but he stood firm. So there are people that were still that are still paying homage to the UPND, that needs to be observed and be included in the new government, not just because someone was somewhere else and then you go and wake him up to say, hey, you have these proper CVs. Anyway, enough about that. That's okay. Coming to the other issue, where is it the Mvunga scenario, the scandal? I will borrow State Counsel John Sangwa's words to say that these guys. When I heard that video, I was not surprised. There's a lot that is going to be revealed that we Zambian are yet to hear. There's a lot. For the past 10 years, you think these people they were just sitting, doing nothing. Council said something to do with these guys being a criminal gang. These were criminal gang. And most of them, if Lungu was just put there as a picture or as the person to use to win more attention, but the people that were doing the underdogs, there were many, and these are the chaps, the Findlay that you hear today, the names being mentioned, those sitting on the plane without any portfolio was not just there for nothing. Those guys were busy doing something for the Zambia, taking advantage, thinking that we were not going to know or we're not going to discover. but God is with us. Whatever goes up, whatever secret is hidden, it's gonna be revealed at one point or the other. And we are yet to hear more. If you ask your HH today, I promise you, he has been briefed security information that he cannot even divulge to the Zambian people, that the previous regime, the criminals, did. So what we see here, what we get here, these are just to spillovers. There's a there's a very serious syndicate that took place during this previous government. So definitely, I would love WHH with the new government to arrest, especially you guys that have been appointed. Do not just sit. If you just go and sit, enjoy the allowances, we are going to speak out for you to be chucked out, and we bring people that are result oriented, that we are going to see people investigating proper cases and come up with good judgments in our favor where criminals are incarcerated. We want to see the incarceration of all these people that killed or that have killed, that supplied us with all kind of toxic medications. So having said that, I would rather, I think in Ikata, I'll just come, I'll leave this place where I am. I just come there as well and take part, whether with or without any a portfolio. I will, as a citizen that is burning in my heart, fight until these chaps are brought to book. I will use every little resources that I have acquired even while living in the diaspora. Or pirafine ukairi mulalanda mwe Zambia nga waikala kuti diaspora, you pay, you are well paid, you are kwata kwama US dollars. Yes, there are other people that have worked that never store their money. We are here. And now that we have a good government with a good conscience in power, we want to come back home and deliver and help this government to achieve their goal. So tukesave kata and vacation okwisa kuno, vacation okwisa kuma Europe or ku America, we will go to the media and expose these thieves. We will expose them, whether you like it or not. Tukamikonka umayanda muikala, wowine diaspora, will fish you out and put you back on the plane. We'll pay, if it means paying, we'll pay for you, get back to Zambia and answer the questions. So with those people who are coming, finally, sorry, I've spoken a lot. Those people are coming back to say they want to be UPND, now that the UPND is in power. Like everyone has put to say, but you should remember one thing, Zambians. We are a democratic country. We know it is their democratic right to belong to any part of their choice. And UPND should not just reject anyone just because they were in the previous. No, let them welcome them. But it is them, the UPND, who at the end of the day have the authority to appoint. They won't just, somebody just came in today, you appoint, you are Bamwamba, GBM, no, you are back, we'll give you a position. No, let him come back. But he will be there, down there as a card as well. You know, Nabalungu Bene is coming to UPND. He's coming to join, I promise you. Just wait and see. I end here, I give chance to others.
Vanoman, before we go far, Melissa is in the background and he's asking for you to add him. Please add him.
Thank you so much. I'm trying to get in Melissa and I'm trying to get in Dr. Kajira. First of all, our viewers, I'm sorry that I was locked out of the studio for a few minutes and I had to lock myself back. But thank you so much, Jeremy, for taking over as we were trying to get everything sorted out. This is what happens when somebody's flying and another one is in Lusaka trying to do the controls from here. Now, I am trying to get everybody back. Those who are in the back studio, take your time. We'll try to get you in. So We have Kangwa. I've never had Kangwa unmute himself. Kangwa, are you shushushu? If you are shushushu, just tell us. If you're not
I am
shushushu,
not
that's fine.
shushush. I am one of you, Norman. The challenge is I can't turn on my camera. I am in my night dress. I am not fit for public.
Kangwa, we don't want
For
to see
public
your bed.
consumption.
We want to hear your voice. Just go ahead. You've got a menu for you to pick from. What are your comments? 5
No,
minutes. I
General
can see
Kangwa,
Patrick.
she
No,
was
I spoke
Patrick is
already,
coming through.
Norman. I spoke.
Yeah, Kangwa, she's done. She spoke. Maybe we can give Patrick Chirufia to hear what he's going to say. Then we need to get back to Wiseman again. But Patrick, chari kare. Before shiraya, Jeno na alami bwese shabunan kani na alami fiuka kupa nono. Attend to, yeah. But in the phone kumfwa kwa Patrick chari kare.
You promised that you'll get back to me. I don't know why you have jumped from me.
Okay, Wiseman, I'll definitely come to you. Jeno, I think he has got it. But Patrick, unmute yourself, please.
Yeah, but Jerome, thank you so much. General, good to see you. The rest of the panel, good to see you too. General, I'll start with the Kambwili one. It was quite shocking. The fact that the conversation was with the bank governor, it truly shows what kind of leadership Lungu had. Appointing, the guy was even misquoting the Bank of Zambia Act. He was so. But what I suspect is, for Kambwili to go to the PS, there must have been something going on. There's no smoke without fire. When you look at the PF guys, he was one of the most corrupt regime.
Patrick, just a minute, please. There's somebody else got his or her microphone on. Please, can you mute your microphone so that we don't hear your discussion and give our panelists a chance to speak? Please try and mute yourself. Over to you, Patrick.
Yeah, so when you look at the PF general, I think HH hinted a bit during, I watched his interview with BBC Focus. This regime was so corrupt beyond measure. So what Kambwili was discussing with the Bank of Zambia governor, there's no smoke without fire. Something, because if you hear, you were saying, you are my friend, you could have come straight to me instead of involving other people. And not only that, the other thing which I realized, that video, that recording must have been done deliberately by Mvunga, because Mvunga now realized that he's been exposed, because his deputy, who is not a cadre, knew about it, and then the PS knew about it. So if there was something happening without, dubious, he wouldn't have wanted his deputy to know and also the PS to know. And then then I also believe Vunga deliberately decided to make that video viral because he was trying to punish Chishimba Kambwili. And if you see, Chishimba Kambwili was trying to phone Vunga on 3 numbers. It looked like Mvunga was avoiding him because Kambwili, when he was in opposition, he seriously attacked the ratification of Mvunga as a bank governor by parliament. So I think he was trying to get revenge on Kambwili and also try to look smart. That's my assumption. On the vaccine, I think, but Jerome, this is your topic. It's quite. I live in the UK. Not only that, I've lived in South Africa, I've been to America. I think, Jerome, with the new government, you are in that profession. I think you need to lobby for new laws and regulations to control the import and the purchase of drugs. Drugs are very crucial. Imagine somebody importing expired drug, defective condoms in a normal country like the UK or America or even South Africa. It cannot happen. But why are these things happening in Zambia? So you guys need to lobby for laws, and there is need for total restructuring in your sector, Jerome. Or else, you wonder why Zambians are dying like mosquitoes. It's because of these drugs. Anybody in Zambia can buy drugs and open a pharmacy or a chemist. There should be strong regulations, around that. But Jeremy, that's your job. I think you need to look at that. At the cabinet, I trust HH General just by appointing Mr. Musokotwane as a finance minister. I think we are in safe hands. You and myself, General, we met most of these guys, including Mr. CO2. We had meetings with them. And Mr. Musokotwane, you remember, you organized the meeting with him. So, and then about the entire cabinet, I think we need to give HH time to come. I have no confidence. HH, I know. You remember, General, the first meeting we had with HH, you are the one who organized it. And then further, we had so many meetings. I have confidence in HH. The interview with BBC, out of this world. And I can see Mvunga is already fired because HH hinted on that. So, and I can't blame him. You cannot have a cadre as a bank governor. It's not acceptable. The guy is so unprofessional. It's so unethical. It's unbelievable, General. But Zambia will change. I'm confident. What about the guys now rushing to the secretariat? It's such a shame. But the other thing is we cannot stop them. It's their democratic right to join any party. But they are not going to get favors they were getting in PF or corruption, because a lot of them, they were supplying the government, supplying ZESCO. So now what they're trying to do is, I saw during the inauguration, there were so many PF guys who had VIP cards. They were even flashing them on Facebook. But these are the same people, General. When we were fighting, they were calling us names. They were even banning us on Facebook, on their Facebook. I was blocked by so many PF guys. And they were there flashing VIP cards, because now they're trying to align themselves. This is how PF operated. It's who you know, Chekelako. So they think now the honey and milk is now with UPND. They're trying to align themselves. Who is going to be the ZESCO boss? Who is going to be the minister of that? So that they can start now getting the deals and bribing our ministers. It's not going to happen in this government. Yes, they are Zambians. If they are qualified, they've got the skills, they are running their company properly, they will get the business. But not those inflated businesses. This is a New Deal government. Yeah, so, and yeah, there are a lot of people who are joining now because they want positions. But some of us, Jerome, you, General, myself, we dedicated so much of our time, to the extent of our spouses even getting upset. But we were doing it for Zambia. We were not doing it for positions or favors. But we are still Zambians. There will be opportunities in Zambia, and we want to go to Zambia and invest, but in a proper way, not corruption. We want to help Zambia develop, and we're going to do it. But what we wanted is, General, myself, I stopped all my projects under the PF because the country wasn't stable. So one of the things I was fighting is to have a stable country, a stable currency, where I can go and do business freely. Nobody's gonna intimidate me because I'm UPND. You know, and this is the Zambia now we wanted, and we've got it. Thank you.
General, okay. Now, General Wiseman didn't speak actually last time. Yeah.
Before we go to Wiseman, Jeremy, there is a complaint here that we have not allowed Andrew Butcher. Have we allowed Andrew Butcher to speak?
Andrew Butcher, no, we lost Andrew Butcher. I hope he's in the background so that he need to be added back.
Okay, if Andrew
just to
Butcher, you
come
are
on,
there, please try and log in back. We'll try and get you in because we don't want our viewers to be complaining. And so let's go back to Wiseman. Wiseman, we gave you 5 minutes. This time we'll give you 4 minutes. You used 1 minute at the beginning. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you very much, General. I think there's something which Mr. Mkereba wanted to address you. I don't know if you can give him just some second to address you before you forget his point.
No, actually, I wanted to thank you, Wiseman. You are very considerate and very patient. We need people like you. I wanted to just remind the General that you had suggested that you were following the sequence on the panel, and what is name Butcher was the last one actually after the other gentleman. And the other observation is that maybe because we have so many people that are trying to come in and talk, but the StreamYard only allows only about 10 people. Yeah. So I would suggest that some of us who have already done the talk, maybe we can just you can put us in the waiting room and put us back when you need us. Otherwise, I felt to give room for others so that they can also participate. You know, Zambia is too big, and ichalo chikulu sana. I really knows about it.
Mkelewa, thank you so much for your suggestion. It's difficult because we have a limited space in the waiting room. And those who have contributed, I would suggest you lock yourself out because I can't lock you out from here. Give the chance to other people to come in. And if you want to come in, we can bring you back. So let's go to Wiseman.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. I think for me, I'll be quick as I'm trying to give space to others as well to contribute. I think I was hinting on the issue of Kambwili and that Mr. Mvunga. I think that is something which Mr. Mvunga was trying to imbalance Mr. Kambwili, of which Mr. Kambwili is already imbalanced. For this audio, I think Mr. Mvunga has just imbalanced himself because there's no way a mayor cadre can have a number of a governor and the governor can have a conversation which the governor can even say, I can even follow you where you are. I think it's a very shameful thing, very imbalancing. Even to the people who borrow us money, I think it is very discouraging to see such kind of conversation from the governor. How can you put confidence in the IMF? These people who borrow us money. So for me, I think I was very disappointed to hear such kind of a conversation, and I'm looking forward, I think, to the point where our men and women in uniform, they're going to start bouncing on these people. And Mr. Kambwili was not even ashamed of himself. He even went ahead and posted on his Facebook account where he was saying, stop talking about the audio, just know we're going to dismantle the debt. It is him and his colleague who has put us in this debt and is even at liberty over trying to dare us about that. I think it's very unfortunate, and I was very disappointed. The issue of the cabinet, I think I believe in my president and his team. I think they are going to appoint people who are capable of delivering. As you have seen, UPND is full of intelligent people. We have got yourself, General, who always come up with this initiative where most of the people have benefited. We deserve to be there, but you know, we are a lot of us who are in UPND who may count ourselves to be among the people being squeezed. But we never fought for this liberation to our mother Zambia for us to get positions. I think we sacrificed ourselves We sacrificed our time and everything just for this country to be where it's supposed to be. And I think we have seen from the appointment which our president is making, I think we can say we are in a safe hand. If you have seen the security wing which our president has brought in, I think it is something you can even say, I'm a proud Zambian, and you can even try to brag wherever you go outside Zambia. So for me, the issue of the cabinet, I think the president and his team, they are on point, including you. I'm sure you are advising him when you go there to see to it that he give us the good team. Coming to the issue of the people who are going to the secretariat, I think UPND now, as you have seen, General, is a community house now, as you are calling our present house to be a community house. It is welcoming each and everybody, but it doesn't mean when you belong to PF, you are not Zambian. You are still Zambian. You belong to MMD, you are still Zambian. It is high time we have to educate our people to say, don't think that when you belong to a ruling party, that's when you're going to be recognized. No. Even if you are non-partisan, I've got people in Zambia who are non-partisan, they are still Zambian, and they are still going to benefit from the good governance of UPND. So those people who are going to the secretariat and whatsoever, yes, they are Zambian, but let them stop wasting time, because UPND has promised each and every Zambian to have equal share of Zambian cake, whether you benefited in the PF, you were in MMD, you were in UNIP, you are in these other parties, you are going to benefit as long as you haven't stolen for the people of Zambia. Because if you have stolen for the people of Zambia, I think Mkoweko Nkawe is waiting for you, and the law is going to take on its course. So for me, General, bless everyone as long as their hands are clean. And lastly, the issue of the vaccine, I think I'm putting blame to those people who have destroyed this evidence. They are supposed to keep that thing so that we can prove it as evidence in court, so that we can start fixing those people who have given us those are defective medicine, those are defective condoms, and now the vaccine. General, thank you very much for offering me this platform, and I'm glad that you have even offered Kangwa a platform. Kangwa is someone I know, I'm sure, and it's good that this is a community TV now where we're accommodating each and everyone. I'm leaving the studio now to give room for others to participate. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much. I can see our advocate Melissa is here. Advocate, if you're ready to join us, just give me 1 minute. I want to get our comments from our viewers. We have
General.
Ryan Kashekwa saying Tutwa can join, but just as a member for at least 3 years before he can be given any position. That's Ryan Kashweka. And Lilian Munachonga says Mr. Kambwili just must go to prison to run. I'm not sure what she means there. Emmanuel Kunda says he doesn't deserve any position until after 5 years. I think he's talking about Tutu Anglube there. And we also have another comment from Devin Chabala says, try to use Telegraph. It can host a lot of participants. Devin will try and use this technology and see what we can do. Queen Sila says where is the audio? I think the audio about Kambwili is there, Sila. You can find it. We will post it on TV Bakwet. It's there in public domain. I can see Joe Flynn is watching. Thank you so much for watching us from Scotland. Bapongo Shivandi. And Arthur Chikoye Samaluwe says, no, I don't. Linglani Piri says, Patrick Chilufia, well spoken. That's Linglani for you. Thank you so much for your comments. Let's go to our resident lawyer, counsel Malisa. What's your comment?
Good evening. Good evening, General. Finally, I'm in the show. Okay, let me be very quick. Just remind me on the topics. I know the topic of the vaccines, first of all. And then there's the issue of, you said people flocking to the secretariat. And then there's the issue of, and the cabinet. That's 3. What's the 4th one?
The 4th one is the Kambwili story and the governor.
Aha, okay. So I'll start with the issue of the vaccines. I think one of our panelists, I think it's Bom Kelabai, he was lamenting that why don't we have laws that regulate these things? So I'm here to answer that one, that as it is in Zambia, we have enough laws that tackle the issue of importation of drugs and how they are regulated. My comment on this issue is that if I'm going to speak from a strictly legal point of view, is that there are a number of questions that have to be asked when relating to this issue of the COVID vaccines, akin to the honeybee scandal. So this has got honeybee written all over it. Now I'm going to show why. First question that we're going to ask is, one of our panelists asked about the tender procedures in the country. So I want to tell them that we have an act of parliament called the Public
Advocate
Procurement.
Malisa, we are losing you. We are losing you.
I can hear you. I can hear you clearly.
Advocate
Can you hear me?
Melissa, we are losing you.
I think General, it's you. We can hear Advocate Malisa clearly.
Okay,
Advocate
let me proceed.
Malisa, it's not you, it's General. I think General is having problems.
Yeah. Advocate Malisa, are you able to hear me?
Yes, General, I can hear you. I can hear everyone. Okay, so I was saying the Public Procurement Act number 12 of 2008 creates an offense under Section 13, Section 13.1 and Section 76, which is called willful failure to comply with the law and applicable procedures or guidelines relating to procurement. So that's the first problem that we have with this whole Findlay deal. So the question that's there is, were the tender procedures according to the Public Procurement Act of 2008 followed? So under that act, any public procurement, you are supposed to, it's either an open tender or a closed tender. So now the question we ask is, when were these drugs tendered for? Because we never saw them in the press. I don't know if anyone ever saw an advert for COVID, for someone to supply COVID vaccine. So that is the first offense that I'm seeing in this scandal, and that is a criminal offense. And I think it carries a two-year sentence. Then the second one that I'm seeing, which has a problem, is we have what we call the statute that creates the ZAMRA, okay, which is called the Medicines and Allied Substances Act number 3 of 2013. So the second question that I want to ask is, this company called Crisma, does it have a pharmaceutical license? Because from the name of the company, it sounds like it's a construction company dealing in excavations and all. So here in Zambia, you cannot import or deal in medicines whatsoever without what they call a pharmaceutical license. I think Jerome knows this. So under Section 34 of the Medicines and Allied Substances Act number 3 of 2013, there's an offense code, fraudulently causing to be issued or obtaining a pharmaceutical license without complying with lawful requirement. So if a company that deals in excavation and construction can, assuming it finds itself with a pharmaceutical license, then that is an offense under that act. How did ZAMRA issue a pharmaceutical license to that company? Then the third thing is importation and distribution of drugs in Zambia, which are substandard or which are misbranded or which are not approved, is also an offense, and it carries a 5-year sentence under Section 59(1) of the same act, which is the Medicines and Allied Substances Act of 2013, which says importing importation, sorting, selling, distributing, and even dealing with substandard, adulterated, and misbranded medicines is an offense. So, what this means is that there was a number of offenses that were committed by one, Zamra, two, the same company that was importing these so-called vaccines. So for someone to say that we do not have the law in Zambia, I think it is not correct. We have all the laws in place to, one, regulate the importation of medicine if we are really serious about it. So maybe I'll probably say that the people who are tasked with enforcing these laws, they've either gone to sleep or they are accomplices in this scam, akin to the honeybee situation, which I would urge, because it seems that Zamra is part of this scam. As part of the overhaul that HH is undergoing, I would recommend that the entire Zamra be dissolved and a new board be put in place, because they are aiding and abetting criminality. Then the
Counsel,
second is, yes,
question.
yes,
There were a lot of legal practitioners in the PF, and
yes.
most of those people, those documentation you're talking about, those agreements or those MOU, whatever you call them, were signed, or rather, we saw I saw some passages where the few lawyers that were even mentioned, that they give the power of attorney to Kambwili. The documents where their names or their law firms appeared on the very document. What's your take on that?
Okay.
Go ahead,
Like I said,
Advocate Melissa. I wanted you to complete your contribution. Then I can open it up to the question time, please, so that we don't have this two-way discussion. Please complete your contribution, and then if there are any questions, please let me have those questions. Go ahead, Advocate Melissa.
okay. So the second issue I wanted to talk about was the issue of the cabinet. We don't know who's in the cabinet right now. This has been a well-guarded secret. Nobody knows. All I can say, or if the president is watching right now, my advice to the president is that, one, he should not be captured by anyone whosoever who feels that the president owes them an appointment. I would like to categorically state here that the president was voted for by 2.8 million Zambians. That is a lot of people. And he cannot appoint all of those 2.8 million people. He can only appoint maybe 20 or so. But in making his appointments, he should not betray the faith of the people by playing politics of patronage. That is the very thing that we voted out. We didn't want patronage where I will come and say, no, I did this, so I need an appointment. The president should appoint his cabinet strictly on merit, not on who did what. Because now, after the election, 2.8 million people voted, and he is presiding over the affairs of 18 million plus Zambians who are all looking at him to level the playing field. So my advice to the head of state will be, let the cabinet be people who will deliver. Nothing else, nothing more, nothing less. Let's have a situation where the playing field is leveled for each and every one of the 18 million people in this country to thrive in their chosen business, in their chosen profession, in their chosen area of expertise, without having to look for government appointments, because government can only be up to a limited number of people. And the third issue about the people flocking to the UPND Secretariat, I think that is expected. after an election like this, where you have what Kangwa calls shima tweakers. My advice to the people out there is that, as somebody already said, there is no need for me to put on UPND regalia if I do not have it. There is no need for me to start looking for it if I do not have it. So that I think that will get me a job or not. What is supposed to be there is that we can all support government in one way or the other. I like what State Council Sangwa said the other day, that I do not need an appointment. I can serve this country even without being appointed in government. Even what we are doing right here, speaking on TV, Bakwetu, is a service to the country because we are informing people out there. So, to our people out there, there's no need for all of us to be appointed in government. There's no need. Let's all do what we can from where we are. And then the last issue was the issue of Chishimba Kambwili and the governor. My simple answer to that is that, Bali, please get rid of these people like yesterday. What's taking long? I mean, we want these people out. Isn't there a provision that we can have an acting governor or something? Because that audio is shocking. Like, someone is talking $30 million. That's a lot of money anywhere in the world. And for someone to create a fake bond, because in that audio, Dr. Chimbakambudi was asking the governor to create a fake bond. And my understanding of a bond is that it's a Kongole on the part of the government that the government pays with interest after some time. So now, how do we know if these people have been doing this for some time? The 23 billion that we are said to be owing, maybe most of it, you might find that maybe even half of it, these guys were just creating bonds into their own pockets. So I think this is something that needs to be looked at, and whoever is found wanting must be caged. Starting with Chichimba Kambili, just that phone call is enough to get him in trouble with the law enforcement agents. If the law enforcement agents do not move in on him, then I don't know what they are doing, because that phone call alone is criminal enough to have Chishimba Kambili arrested today. If they can do it. They went to HH's house midnight. I'm asking our new IG, please go to Chishimba Kambili right now. That's my submission, Cheno.
Thank you so much, Advocate Madista. We have a few comments here before we wind up.
Okay.
Miriam Simunika, just a minute, sir. Simunika says, who's allowing these people to flock to the community house? Miriam, they're not flocking to the community house. They are flocking to the secretariat. If you flock to a community house now, you want to go in. The security is so tight. It will take you hours to get in. They're not going to the community house. They're only flocking to the party secretariat and the party offices. I can see that we have got two people joining us. Dr. Kajila in Canada, welcome, my dear cousin. And
Thank you, cousin. Thank you.
Matthias Rubinga. Today it has been difficult. Technically, we will have trouble because as we're talking to you now, viewers, Moonsha is airborne, and technically we are finding problems. But we have a few minutes. We want to hear from Dr. Kajila and Matthias. 4 topics. The cabinet. Dr. I don't call him doctor. Mr. Chishimba Kambwili's rant with the governor. Vaccines, Dr. Kajila, funny vaccines appearing in Zambia. And finally, everybody's rushing to the secretariat trying to look for jobs. Your comments are in 3 minutes.
Yes, I'll try my best. Thanks, cousin, for allowing me, General, for allowing me to join. I've really been impressed with all the comments that my predecessors have given. Advocate Malila, that was very insightful, quoting all the laws. For me, I'm passionate about healthcare and specifically vaccines in this time of COVID-19. We all know that Zambia has had less than 1% of its need for vaccines provided to the people. And so our people remain vulnerable for a fourth wave that could still cause havoc. So when I come across things like what we've witnessed about these fake drugs, these fake vaccines being captured or being discovered, and specifically known to have been ordered by a person that has been in the limelight for some time now, that has been, this name has kept coming up over the last few years with corruption linked to it. I'm very disappointed, because what it does from a health perspective is that it starts creating doubt in the minds of our people in terms of safety of vaccines. As you know, one of the biggest issues we've faced in the healthcare sector is vaccine hesitancy. And one of the key elements that have come out is that how do we secure to make sure that our people are getting the right high quality vaccines? I'm involved directly in trying to create the capacity within Africa for us to start developing our own vaccines. And I believe we will be able to have that capacity soon. So for me, this just talks about the big cancer that is in our country right now, and that is corruption. The advocate Malila mentioned that the laws are there. So how is it possible that from the procurement point of view to the delivery of those drugs into the country, we were not able to stop this? So I feel that this is a crime against humanity. Even if our people did not receive those drugs and they were destroyed, the mere fact that there was an attempt to murder or to make fake drugs, that enough is an indictment to whoever is involved. And I feel they rushed to destroy them. That should have served as some kind of evidence, unless there's something we don't know whereby they've already prosecuted this case. So whoever decided to destroy them, whoever is trying to cover up, I think the law enforcement agency has to look into that, because healthcare is very, very important. People are dying. We lack oxygen, and we're allowing people to come in and try to make money on our suffering. So that's my point there. So I'm hoping the president, if he's listening, that he's going to be quick and swift on this matter. In terms of the conversation, I was shocked, to say the least, that a whole governor of the central bank of the country, he's like the governor of the central bank in the US or in Canada. These are highly, highly respected people. You don't mess with those guys. They deal with the government coffers. So there has to be a certain decorum that comes with that position of bank governor. So for me to hear that conversation and the suspicion that it was actually the governor who may have ordered it, it really gives me goosebumps, because then we don't know whether this is just the tip of the iceberg or not. What other deals were done? Now, just to, within the next few remaining minutes, just the rationale. Why was it recorded? Number one. Number two, the way it started off sounded like somebody is very upset. He's going to report Mr. Kambwili to the Chief Justice. And even that, I don't know if that's the procedure. Do you report to the Chief Justice or do you call the police? And then, as the conversation goes, it kind of falls apart. They now start talking about writing notes for you, and then it turns over. And then in the end is, you're my friend, I will not take this up. You know, and that's corruption as far as I'm concerned. You highlighted a big problem. You're quoting even laws which don't exist. And in the end, so was that, what kind of facade was that? So I would like to get answers to that. I agree with Advocate Malila. The governor must be fired immediately, just to send a message that the new administration are not kidding. And the third point I want to make is about people are anxious in Zambia and probably around the world of appointments. Who's going to be appointed? I can imagine so many people who have worked hard within UPND are anxious for position. People, the best thing you can do is chill and just stick to what you know how to do best. If you have a business, continue working in your business. It will thrive under a new government. You'll be good. You'll be better than you were in the last administration. There are only so few positions that the president can offer. And even then, he's trying to balance in terms of regional, in terms of reflecting the country's, the image of the country. So even if you are so highly qualified, there might be another factor that could make your friend be in that position than you. But please do not be bitter. Do not start getting frustrated. Just carry on. Your time may come, maybe 5 years, 2 years, whatever. But continue doing whatever you're doing. For those like the PF guys who are now just trying to jump ship, my suggestion is, yes, it's your right of association in the Bill of Rights to join any group. And I'm sure UPND won't chase you if you show up to become a member. But I think they should be interviewed. There should be a process of interviewing and saying, why have you changed your mind? What are you bringing to the table? And even if they pass that interview, please don't appoint them. We're tired of these recycled politicians popping up every now and then. And so my advice is the Secretariat must chase them away. And if they join, let them be ordinary members for a long, long time. I think that's all, General. That's all I wanted to say. And thank you for the privilege of speaking from the diaspora. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kajila. Thank you so much for your contribution, especially on the vaccines. We know that you are very passionate about making sure that our people have got the best medical services. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we've been going for 1 hour and 41 minutes. This man here has been in meeting since 8 o'clock this morning. And I think I need to wind up to prepare for some more meetings tomorrow. But General, before I go, Gladys, I'll give you 2 minutes, my dear sister. There are 4 topics there, 2 minutes for you to wind up, and then we close the show for today. But before Gladys comes in, please remember to give us stars. We need stars from you. We General, need stars. Give us stars so that we can build a bigger platform. Over to you, Gladys.
General, sorry, before Gladys comes in, General, sorry to interrupt you. There's a question on the chat here that I think I have to respond to.
Go ahead. If you
can, yeah. There's a gentleman called Louis Jello. He says, "What do you mean when you say abetting criminality? You sound contradictory, bro. I hope you are as objective and as magnanimous as possible. Otherwise, you too could be statistics. I submit." So what I mean, Lewis, what I mean by abetting criminality, I don't think I need to define what abetting is. So maybe for the benefit of everyone, I can go ahead. What abetting is, abetting criminality simply means is that you are helping someone commit a crime.
Yep.
Okay, so why I accused whoever is allowing these drugs to come in of abetting criminality is very simple. I read out the legal framework here, which is the Medicines and Allied Substances Act number 3 of 2013, which places that obligation on ZAMRA, Zambia Medicine Regulatory Authority. They are the regulator. General, I cannot wake up today and say I want to bring drugs into Zambia. It doesn't happen like that. Drugs are not something that you can just buy and just bring into the country. So there is a regulatory framework, and there is an institution that is put in place to police that. So these drugs, whether donated or not, for them to get into this country, number one, they need to be on the list of approved drugs. And that list comes from ZAMRA. So the very fact that drugs which are not approved found themselves in this country is already a problem. Because they didn't just wake up like yesterday, they were not there, and today they were there. No, there's a whole process that goes along with it. So when I say that you are abetting criminality, it means that somebody along the line did not do their job. And by not doing their job inadvertently or knowingly or unknowingly, they abetted the commission of a crime. It's as simple as that. So whether they were negligent or they did it willingly, the point is they did assist in commission of a crime. And this crime is contrary to Section 59(1) and Section 59(2) of the Medicines and Allied Substances Act, number 3 of 2013. I hope that answers you, my brother Lewis. Thank you very much, General.
Thank you so much, Advocate Melissa. To our viewer, Mr. Lewis, Lewis, we welcome your comments, but abetting simply means you are helping somebody commit a crime. That's simple. And we welcome the comments, but please, before you put these comments, think about the comments you're making so that we don't waste time on things which are simple. Abetting simply means helping somebody commit a crime. Simple. Thank you so much, Advocate. Gladys, 3 minutes, please.
Probably late. It's been quite difficult to.
Can you unmute yourself, Gladys, please?
Yes, I have. Good evening, General, and
Gladys?
Good evening, viewers. Yes, I have unmuted myself. Can you hear me?
Just go ahead. We've lost the General again.
Okay. I'll just give a comment. I guess everyone has spoken everything concerning the video which is going around for Governor Mvunga or Mr. Kambwili. That it is really pathetic to see. And if I can read between the lines, in my own opinion, whoever was recording, which seems to be the governor himself, it's easy to see that he was trying to come out clean and cover up whatever it is all the dirty games which they have been doing. And when he realized that things are going to be revealed, that's when he starts unprofessionally, apparently. We don't expect that from the governor. And then he starts saying that we are friends. And it's really not showing a good signs to our local community, also the international community, especially that there's a lot of negotiation going on concerning what we owe to the international community. I think it's pathetic. And for one, I would think that the governor himself, Governor Mvunga, must be fired and bring in the competent people to govern the country, because it doesn't look good, really. And the other thing I would comment concerning the people who are frequenting the Secretariat house for the job. Well, it's a pity that they didn't see light at the end of the tunnel, that now that they see that UPND is in the government and then they want the jobs. For instance, when I read Tutu Anguluve saying that no one is going to stop him to come to be a member of UPND, well, he can just as well, I think, go and create a party which he can campaign. He can really work hard for it, because he doesn't even really need to bring a CV himself, a CV, because he is a bad CV himself to the general public. We cannot afford to have such kind of leaders who have no leadership quality to get into the government or to get into a party, because they are just bad seeds. So I think he should create he should create a party. He's a mess. And if he's a leader who has been threatening the youth, what more does he want from the current government? That's all I can comment for now.
Thank you so much, Gladys. Viewers, tonight we've had very interesting topics: the cabinet, the vaccines, the Mvunga Kambwili scandal, and we've also had the people rushing to the Secretariat. Totally agree with you, and the viewers that somebody must be arrested over these vaccines. I can see somebody saying that these vaccines were donated by a family. Whether donated or not donated, there's something fishy and something very, very crooked about these vaccines. Somebody has to answer for this. And for me, totally agree with our viewers that somebody at the Bank of Zambia must be fired. That recording, there's something not right. It's either the governor himself was trying to launder himself, look good, but he has ended up looking foolish. And my appeal will be to the president that the governor must go, and probably the police must move in, because as one of our viewers has already said on the panel, what else have they done in the last 7 years in a crooked way? So we need to follow this, and this government must follow the issue of the governor and Mr. Kambwili. In a very normal country, which I think we are now, Kambwili and the governor must answer some questions. Somebody's violating the law. What else have they done in the last 7 years, which is violating the Banking Act? Finally, our viewers, we have the issue of our friends like Tutu Ngulube and other people secretly, others rushing to try to get jobs. For me, my view is very, very clear. People like Tutu Ngulube should not be allowed into UPND. Should not. I know we're democratic.
Totally agree.
Our constitution allows people freedom of movement, freedom of association, but as a matter of principle, people like Tutu Ngulube should never be allowed into UPND, because that would be a joke of democracy and a joke. Because only 4 weeks ago, he was insulting this party and the president and everybody else. He should not be allowed. Those who are genuine members probably be interviewed, as just Dr. Kajila said, and so that we can get the right people. The cabinet, I can tell you, I've met the highest people in the party at the moment, and I've not had a single. So ignore the list you are saying, you are hearing, guys. I am meeting our key leaders in Lusaka. I've met them, and I'll continue meeting them. But the truth is that there's not even a single hint to know who is going to hold which position. So if you're seeing any list, viewers and our panelists, ignore those. But what I can assure you, our president is going to appoint a very good cabinet, and I think they are also going to appoint a very good speaker. I can tell you there will be a new speaker, but I won't tell you who the speaker is going to be. I would love our viewers to continue guessing until after probably Friday. So I just want to take this opportunity to thank everybody. I know you've got so much to say. Our advocate, Patrick Chirufia, my dear brother from the UK, Dr. Kazira, Gladys, and all the other panelists who contributed tonight, to our good Munsha who's flying somewhere. I say thank you so much for supporting us, Munsha, and our technical team for bringing us this chance tonight. This week is going to be interesting. The MPs, our viewers, are being sworn in, which means we might have a cabinet very soon. I would like us tomorrow to seriously think about one topic. A lot of our young people have been moved from markets and bus stations, and the expectations for jobs are very high. What do you think we should do to make sure that our youths in the streets should be given sustainable and decent jobs, not the empowerment of the PF? Think about this, and let's see what we can do to help the UPND create sustainable jobs, whether it's markets, whether it's bus stations, whether it's in agriculture, whether it's in transport, whether it's in mining, whether in all these sectors. What can we do? What can the UPND do in the next 6 months to try and create jobs so that we don't frustrate our young people? Because if we don't do that, we are sitting on a time bomb. What should we do? What should the UPND do to create decent jobs, sustainable jobs? So having said that, I want to say thank you so much for tonight. Long day, I'm enjoying Manishima in Zambia with Katapa and Bondwe and everything else. And I want to thank those who have hosted me for lunch. Some of them are government officials. I will not mention their names, my friends, my family. Thank you so much. And I hope I can bring this show tomorrow, and so that we can continue sharing. Whatever I hear from the officials, dear viewers, I will share. But there are certain things which I can't share. Unfortunately, there are certain things which I can't share. For instance, if I meet the minister or the president, I can't share what I've discussed with them, because that is a discussion between the government officials, and I must be extra careful so that I respect whatever I discuss with our leaders. So thank you so much tonight, and from beautiful, hot Lusaka. And I just want to say thank you so much, and have a lovely day, and hope to see you tomorrow. We have had a technical problem tonight. I just hope tomorrow we will sort it out, because Musha was flying, and I had also a problem with my internet here. Once more from Lusaka, and probably our Chiwampala and the whole of Zambia would like to say goodbye and good night from TV Bakwetu. Those of you who want to give us stars, Doctor, please give us stars. Don't just wave at us, give us stars. Okay? Good night from Bakwetu.
Let me do
God
it right
bless you
now
guys.
before you close the show.
Yeah.
And bless-
General, can we spend even 5 minutes in the background and just talk about one or two issues quickly?
Well, let me see whether I'm able to get everybody on the background, and see whether we can do that. But for now, I would like to say thank you so much, and make sure that we continue to pray for our president. We continue to pray for our country, and for things to happen. It's fantastic to be in Lusaka, to hear from people. The smiles I'm seeing in Lusaka are just unbelievable. Everybody is smiling,
Hakainde is going
but
to make it.
everybody is anxious. So I would like to say, let's try and see whether we can get on the background. And from Bakwetu TV, it's good night.
Tolumbaga Party. Muhyarega votu.
Msiale 4.
I'm only one. But I still see that we are still live.
Are we in the background, guys?
No, we are still live.
We're still on the show. Hey, General, did you see the stars I sent? I sent you a few stars, so don't embarrass me.
Unfortunately, I think what General is not the administrator. It's Vamunsha who has to be online on the plane and log off.
Wow. So what do we do?
Don't discuss any